Welcome to New Sky TV, a chaotic love triangle. Zhai Yiying's Half Sugar, Half Plum raked in 85.61 million views, with the ex-husband's protective details being incredibly sweet. Why did their reunion on a snowy night bring her to tears? Zhai Yiying's consecutive releases are truly shrewd and precise. First, she used Half Sugar, Half Plum to grab a huge wave of viewership during the Spring Festival holiday, reaching a peak of 85.61 million views, and then seamlessly launched the 7th winter after breaking up with you, keeping viewers constantly switching between sweetness and heartbreak, giving them no chance to breathe. The two characters are like two emotional channels. On one hand, a stubborn but soft-hearted ex-husband lives streaming his pursuit of his wife. On the other hand, a reunion and reconciliation after 7 years of misunderstanding amidst a snowstorm. This perfectly hits the pain points of urban romance drama viewers, the relatability of real-life emotions plus the immersive emotional pull. Half Sugar, Half Plum premiered on January 26, with Zhai Yiying playing Xian. The character's premise is intriguing. A former top-tier actress, she's been heavily criticized online due to an endorsement scandal, her career ruined, and forced to participate in a dating reality show to earn a living. What was initially thought to be a normal show turns out to be directed by her ex-husband, Zhai Yiying. This reunion on the dating reality show immediately sparked viewers' imaginations of a dramatic love triangle. The details during the live stream added a touch of warmth. His sharp tongue masked his protective instincts, even adjusting her microphone order. This seemingly bickering yet undeniably supportive dynamic kept fans of the Chenchi couple, Zhai Yiying and Zhai Ying, on a sweet, endless stream of interactions. Fans of the original novel were also surprised by the high degree of fidelity to the source material. For example, when Xian was jostled by the crowd, his instinctive embrace felt like a heartbeat mingling with the background noise. The 7th winter after breaking up with you directly cuts into another, deeper, darker emotional river. Premiering precisely at midnight on February 4th, the opening frame is the silent collapse 7 years ago. Xiaoqin, to protect her first love, Mengsheng and his young sister, secretly sold the small house they had built together, slipping the money under their door, and alone bearing the overwhelming accusations of snobbishness and climbing the social ladder. She didn't explain a word, seemingly acquiescing to all the accusations, then disappeared from Mengsheng's world, giving birth to her daughter Tongtong alone. For the next 7 years, life was the incessant beeping of the convenience store cash register, the clean marks on the bottom of the baby formula can, and the burning, choked feeling in her throat when her daughter asked, "Does daddy not like my eyes?" The reunion is not a romantic drama. Mengsheng is now a rising star in the business world, returning with icy resentment. His revenge initially manifests as precise, cold-blooded attacks, cutting off her job opportunities and laughing and chatting with female companions in front of her. However, the fortress of hatred often cracks from within. When he discovered Tongtong's existence, when he saw the child's eyes, so like his own yet veiled in gray, all the ice began to groan under its own weight. The real flashpoint came that snowy night. Tongtong suddenly developed a high fever, and Xiaoqin stumbled through knee-deep snow to flag down a car. In her despair, Mengsheng's car pierced the darkness, cutting through the snowstorm. On the way to the hospital, a car accident occurred, and almost instinctively, he turned to shield the mother and daughter in the back seat, protecting them between himself and the seat. In the chaos, Tongtong's icy little hand frantically groped in the air, finally grasping the corner of his expensive suit jacket. The fabric was covered in snowflakes, yet it radiated a solid warmth. The child couldn't see, but suddenly fell silent, whispering, "Mommy, smells like the sun." The camera then focused on Xiaoqin's face. Snowflakes clung to her eyelashes, quickly melting into water, mingling with scalding tears that streamed down her face. It wasn't sadness, but a tingling, almost painful sensation, like blood frozen for 7 winters finally thawing. She finally dared to breathe, her breath trembling violently in the icy carriage. If the sweet plum is a push-pull art of atmospheric stress and acquaintance game, making you want to cover your mouth and chuckle in public, then the 7th winter is a surgical procedure of emotional thawing. It doesn't pursue instant dopamine, but uses long-term repression as a foundation to deliver the overwhelming force of the ice breaking. The audience's pain points are thoroughly exposed. What we crave may not be an eternally passionate love myth, but rather, when misunderstood by the world and plunged into an ice cave, There is someone who, even with misunderstanding and resentment, will still instinctively use their body to cut through the snow for you. It's something deeper than love, the primal sense of security that no matter what, you are still my responsibility. Zhai Yiying's performance here sheds the star power of Xian, transforming into the dull, life-weary silence of Xiaoqin. Her tears weren't like pear blossoms in the rain, they were tears welling up in her eyes, held back, and finally bursting forth in the snowy night unseen by anyone. This performance wasn't like acting, it was like gently stroking the audience's heart, a scar they'd almost forgotten, not dazzling, but precisely enough to send a shiver down their spine. Let's go back to that little anecdote. During the blizzard scene in the second episode of The Seventh Winter, a comment floated by, "I'm in Beijing, and it's snowing heavily outside." I paused the show and went downstairs to stand for 10 minutes. The snow stung my face, but the lump in my throat seemed to melt away. Later, this viewer commented that after returning home, she held her soaked shoes on the radiator to dry, listening to the hissing sound of the evaporating steam, feeling as if she were performing a small melting ritual for a parting that ended abruptly 7 years ago. This is the highest level of immersion. The series cleaves a deep channel of emotion, and countless real-life memories flow into it, completing a silent resonance and healing. Zhai Yiying and her character became the most precise bridge across this deep canal. The bittersweetness here transcends dramatic technique, transforming into a shared sense of empathy. The snow falls silently, yet permeates the mountains and rivers behind the soaring popularity figures lies a meticulously calculated emotional manipulation project. The short drama's pacing was compressed to the limit, and the emotional intensity was saturated. Half-Sweet Green Plum, with its extreme reunion in a romance variety show premise, swept the entire internet within 24 hours, garnering over 200 million views and more than 1.57 million favorites, propelling it to the forefront of the homepage's visual storm. Meanwhile, The Seventh Winter, with its profound hook of 7 years of pain, saw its pre-release pre-orders peak at 700,000. After its premiere, emotional comments and fan-created videos expressing heartbreak, breakdown, and crying on my pillow created a continuous secondary emotional wave, firmly securing its place on the charts. This consecutive airing of sweet dramas followed by heart-wrenching dramas is actually a clever combination of emotional flow locking. The platform used the shortest path to effortlessly guide viewers who were captivated by Zhai Yiying's acting in Half-Sweet Green Plum and curious about the emotional depth of the Chenchi CP to The Seventh Winter. The audience profiles of the two dramas highly overlap. Viewers are repeatedly immersed in the extremes of sweetness and heartbreak, experiencing a roller coaster ride from a smile to a bittersweet feeling. Their emotional buffers are completely filled, requiring several days of emotional withdrawal to recover from the stories. My advice is to let your current state of mind decide. If you're weary of the harsh realities of life and crave a touch of light sweetness and the subtle comfort of He Still Loves Her, then Sugar Plum is an excellent choice. Watching how the ex-husband hides his burning protectiveness with a cold face in front of everyone, that unspoken understanding of only I understand your vulnerability, is enough to make any soul yearning for unique affection uncontrollably smile. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next video. Thank you.